Welcome everyone, this is the Apex Legends African Throwdown and I am joined by Fender Plays and Camille Chikte. My name is Proxy and we have quite the action lined up for you today. It is the last day of the group stages. It is the last opportunity for Group C to get their points on the board, to qualify for that top 40 and to get into the semi-finals. Fender, Camille, here we are again. Are you guys excited for tonight?
Yes. There's no other way to put it. Group C is where all the action's going to be. Yeah, we saw Group B. Yeah, we saw Group A. But we knew what was going to happen there. Today, there is question marks. There is wildcard teams. There is hype. Tendo, are you feeling the same way, bro?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling super excited to see what's going to happen. We made a bit of a jinx last night, or at least I made a bit of a jinx last night with ATK's group saying that they might be able to win 6 out of 6, but it turned out they only were able to clutch out the 5. But yeah, man, I mean, Group C is pretty interesting. I'm right now going to call my bets on first game is going to be EG's game. Elite Gaming is going to win it. I mean, look, Vayazu, John Wick, I think he's going to come back for part 3. You know what I mean? It's about to go crazy. And then Mayor Addicts were also putting up a really good show from what I observed when I looked at Group C. So I'm pretty excited to see what's going to happen in these 2 games.
Well, speaking of the 2 games, let's look at the schedule for tonight and see exactly what we've got lined up for. It's going to be quite a short broadcast this time around, not 4 maps, but only 2 maps. Group C, as you mentioned, their last 2 maps, their last 2 opportunities to get those points up on the board. And I mean, speaking of the points, let's look at the points distribution and see exactly how they can get those points. Obviously, placements and kills, your 2 biggest things in this game. First place is going to be 20 points, second 14, etc., etc. With each kill also warranting you an extra point. That's always great to see, especially with all your aggressive teams who do better at getting kills than they do at placements, potentially because they're a little bit too aggressive. We might say not say anything. Either way, though, we have some teams that really do well in both of these aspects, either getting those top placements, getting all the kills in the lobby somehow, some way. So for the aggressive teams, the passive teams, either way, there's a playstyle that can fit into this. And speaking of the points, speaking of why they're doing this in the first place, the prize pool, of course, the whole reason everybody's here is for that good money at the end. Of course, fourth place is going to take away that $100, third place is going to take $200, second going to be taking $300, and your champions, the one above it all, the team that made it through the group stages up to the top 40 and finally grabbed their winning spot, is going to get that $400 prize. And I mean, that's a pretty good prize. I mean, $400 in the pockets, playing some Apex over a couple of days. I think that's a pretty good one. And
almost
Fender,
enough money to buy a PS5.
We're breaking this up again. Now, moving on. We said Group C standings. Let's check how they are currently, see where the teams that have to sweat the most are looking at. And you can see Mayo Addicts and Elite Gaming actually on top there. So Fender, they're looking for the Elite Gaming win. First map coming through. Mayo Addicts, of course, they were quite a surprising team. Camille, do you remember? Take us through this.
Absolutely killed it. Look, placement points and whatever, good job for them for winning. They got ahead in placement points. That is what it is. But look at that. They were top of the kills in their group as well. You know me. I'm a Blind Peakers fan. I love the hype, the kills, the aggressive play. So credit to them for that. They were the overall best team in the lobby, I think, out throughout those 4 games. They played very consistent throughout it. But we see Elite Gaming, one of the wins they clutched out, right? What a win they should have never have gotten. Vias just went into God mode, Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct. Nobody could touch him and he killed the whole lobby, so credit to him. But for the most part, I feel like Elite Gaming, they have another gear to shift up to, and I hope they can see that in the next 2 games for tonight. But what I really like about Group C is you can see, look at this. We are 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Teams all very close. There was, you see, like Drip, for example, they played really well around the map. They controlled the zones well, so they managed to get those high placements, but they were very low on kills. We look at Punk's Interactive, who I think should be much higher up on the leaderboard because they got the 3rd most kills in the lobby. They were slaying, but they got caught out early in a lot of the rounds, so they never got those placement points. I think a lot can change between 3 and 7. If any of these teams show up today, we're going to see some real exciting Apex.
I think Group C has been one of the most competitive groups that we've been looking at so far. Just as you mentioned, there's such close contention in the rest of the positions that it really just creates such an exciting platform there for the teams to really showcase what they've got. And I mean, thinking about all the groups that we've gone through, and now we've seen that every single group, Group A, Group B, have stepped it up on their last chance. Those last 2 maps, they really stepped it up. They really came to the party and showed us plays and kills and points that we hadn't seen before, because of course now it's down to the wire. This is their last chance. So now taking that into consideration, combining that with Group C, Thendo, how are you feeling about Group C tonight? I mean, I'm excited personally, but what you're looking out for tonight for Group C?
Look, the good thing about being the last to play in most esports, most competitive anything is what you gotta do, right? And yesterday I talked about being at that 40-point threshold where you'll be sitting kind of comfortably to enter the semifinals, and that's kind of what the teams need to be looking at. If you look at that table, the top 10 only had, I think, the 10th team 16 points. But if you look at the overall standings, if you're sitting with like 16 points, you're almost gonna fall off that overall leaderboard. Here we get the overall leaderboard just to check it out, and you can see already top 20 right now. Revert Caustic sitting at exactly 40 points. So teams like Punks really need to get a good showing in today so that they can make it in that top 20, sit pretty comfortably. They don't want to fumble the bag to a couple of these bottom teams in their group that just might steal their place, And I want to look back at how Neoflux did last night, where they were able to clutch that top 3. I think that gave them so many points. And now look at where they're sitting, 17th overall with 3 kills, guys.
Madness.
Placement.
That's one team.
Placement is really what you need to play for in Group C today. And yes, kills are great, but you really do need to make sure you're sitting comfortably. So I'd employ a slower play style today from Group C and just suss out everybody first before really going crazy at it. Looking at Outlaws as well, our Nigerian team. Dr. Sid, I know he's probably watching, hoping they do good tonight. They really need a good performance. I think 30 points for them by the end of today should, solidify them in the semifinals. But they got to get there. Sitting with 2 kills, 10 placement points, it's not looking too good for them at the bottom there.
I think anyone in the bottom 20 right now is going to be sweating, especially teams like Punch Interactive. I mean, they were really good with the kills there. You can see they're sitting on 21 kills, but those placement points, as you mentioned, they just weren't coming through. And it's showing right now in their standings. I mean, they're sitting at 24, which is not too bad, quick jump up to the top 20. But either way, you have no idea what's going to be happening in this group. There's so many teams that can kick you out of the spot right now. So you need to be giving it your all. Kills, placements, either way, it needs to go big. Group C needs to go big tonight if we want to see them solidifying their spots in that top 40, which we should be finding out after tonight. Tonight's going to be the night that we can find out that top 40 among some other announcements that will be happening at the end of the show. So stick with us, whoever's watching right now, and remember to follow Northern Gaming Africa, all their socials, their YouTube, their Twitch, if you want to keep up to the action. Semi-finals are next weekend. We are getting closer and closer to the finish line of these Apex Legends African Throwdown, and if you're not keeping up with us, what are you doing? We've got John Wicks in this group, man. You have to keep up with us. It's insane. Talking about those moments, talking about John Wick specifically, the Vias, the man, the legend. Camille, do you want to break it down even further? Do you want to talk about some of the beautiful moments that we've seen in Group C so far?
Listen. Don't even hear what I have to say about it. Go at the third day's VOD on our Twitch channel, on our YouTube channel. I don't know if the VODs are saved on a Facebook channel, but go and look on Group C's first day VOD. Third game, I believe it was. He 1v the whole lobby. He literally went and decimated them all by himself. The rest of his team was out here dying. We were like, okay, he's gonna rat it out. Whatever. No. It was all of those guys stuck in there with him. He cleaned up 3-4 teams in the end game. He bossed it. Best Apex I've seen in my whole life. I dreamt about that moment the whole night. So guys, go check that out in the VOD. It was amazing.
It was ridiculous, and we've seen so many moments, especially with Olympus giving us a couple of previews where teams, really big teams, would be going down immediately. They'd get that second chance on Olympus, and somehow, some way, they'd come back. But we're going to put Olympus to the side because we're going to be focusing on Kings Canyon. Now, I love this map, and I've spoken so much about this map, but I think I've been speaking too much tonight. Guys, I'm going to leave it in your hands. It's Thendo Plays and Camille Tictay going to be taking you through the play-by-play for the last couple of maps for Group C, and it is hype. We are here. We are nearly at the end of it to find out who that top 40 is. So, guys, take it away. This is the Apex Legends African Throwdown. Let's get it!
Hype! We got our first game of the evening. We only have 2 matches here tonight for Group C, and that's going to be 2 amazing matches. There's all left to play for, and I am hyped beyond belief. First map, Tendo, Kings Canyon, the map we all like the most because obviously Olympus is the Wild Wild West. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm definitely ready to see what is going to happen on Kings Canyon today. Yeah, I mean, look, I want to see actually a big performance from Punks. I almost forgot that Punks was in this group. And if you follow the Punks team a little bit, you'll know that they usually have a really good roster going on with them, but they often, just struggle to follow through with some of their, fights and some of their rotations. So today, I want to see a big Punks thing, and I think they can really pull it out. I mean, obviously, it depends on where they drop and et cetera, factors, how Elite Gaming is going to play. And Elite Wannabes as well, if I'm not mistaken, were also a bit of a formidable force in the group, if I'm not wrong, Camille.
They had a really good showing in a couple of rounds. They weren't consistent through all 4 maps, but when they were looking good, they were looking phenomenal. They had some clutch rotations, great team fight victories. It was a solid performance from them. I feel like they have a lot they can show in these next 2 maps as well.
Yeah, definitely. And let's speak compositions real quick. What are we seeing today? I mean, yesterday on Kings Canyon, we had a bit of a mix and match. I think we even saw a Lifeline pulled it out. I know you're a big Gibraltar fan. What do you think the comps are going to be looking like? Are we going to see a lot of Revenant? If I'm not wrong, John Wick himself was playing Revenant last time when he clutched up those fights, wasn't he?
You stole my question. I was going to ask you the same thing. Because last time we watched Group C, right, the meta was completely different here. The whole lobby was practically playing Revenant Octane. That was like the bread and butter for the entirety of the lobby. I think we saw Elite Gaming playing Revenant Octane plus Wraith, so all-out attack from them. But it might be different because, again, there's a lot more pressure here in these last 2 maps because you don't have a whole evening to play, cement your points, climb your way up the leaderboard. This is basically game 3 and 4 from the jump. So I wonder if we'll still see such an aggressive lobby or we'll see a couple of changes ups here. We see Nas and the boys playing Jib as we expected, Octane, a very popular hero so far, and of course the Bloodhound. And there's the lineup we were talking about, Tendo. Elite Gaming still running with it.
Yeah, that Octane Revenant lineup has been quite the force these days for Apex players to deal with, and you can understand why. I mean, you put the totem down, you get that extra protection, you can just jump into a squad and deal as much damage as you can, and if you don't kill that squad, someone else third party maybe will, and you still put your team in a good position. It's sometimes a little bit difficult to play with it if you're not too coordinated, and it sometimes does get you killed, but I think it's one of those compositions, high risk, high reward. They've also coupled it with Wraith, which is really good. The portal's not as good as it used to be, coupled with Revenant, considering they nerfed it a while ago where you have to wait a few seconds before you take a Wraith portal to get back into a fight. So, I mean, we'll see how things go as we tune into Mayor Addicts, who, let's hope they pull out. They're landing in Crash Site, Camille, and whoever is seen landing at Crash Site.
The best of the best, DNMK and ATK Arena. This has been their bread and butter spot. So that's basically all the top teams from the 3 groups have all landed at Crash Site. Is that not just amazing, my man?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not too sure how much World's Edge competitive Apex you've seen, Camille, but usually Fragment is a very heavily contested position. Teams like TSM like to land Fragment, Kula, if you know about Kula in the EU region, and sometimes there's a lot of contesting for places like that, where there's gonna be high tier loot, good rotations, etc. And it's interesting that nobody's actually contesting Crash Site, but I mean the lobby is a little bit thin after all. There's not a full lobby, so it'll be interesting when we get full 20-man lobbies to see how contested Crash Site is gonna be.
100%, and I feel like that Crash Site area is very interesting to me as well because one of my favorite content creators in the Apex Legends scene, Daz, he spoke a lot about it. He really likes that area because he says even if you contest it, there's a lot of places to jump to get good loot there, depending on how people drop, and to third party from any entrance in that area is like very easy to do. So it is a very great landing spot, one of his favorites as well.
Yeah, definitely. And we tune into Elite Wannabes. EXO has been a very, I think, decorated player in the ZA community. He's probably like one of our best Wraith players out there. He's cracked on the sticks. If you don't know, he plays on the sticks, by the way, Camille. So if you see him beaming, you'll know exactly why. It's that aim assist coursing through his veins, giving him all those powers. But you know what? We tune into our VN, who are just on the outskirts here at Artillery, trying to gather some loot. And it's a very slow game right now. And I think that's what I kind of expected so far. Thin lobby, not too many people land on top of each other, and everybody's kind of got a spot to play in right now. We might see a little bit of fights there in that outer artillery area next to capacitor, a couple of teams in that area, but for the most part, most of the map is clear. The zone is also pulling towards containment, so teams like Mayo Addicts have a pretty easy rotation in. The lead wannabes have a good rotation in. They'll be able to scout out things. And yeah, I mean, Mayo Addicts are just cleaning up house here. They're going to get as much loot as they can. They've already got 2 blues, 1 purple. So they're doing really good compared to a team like this who are only on white arms.
Yeah, they haven't had a chance to farm up any damage and haven't got the greatest loot so far. I just want to say I'm shilling for Elite Gaming RSA today because I landed my favorite landing spot, caustic treatment plant. But unlike in my pubs, they were there uncontested and got all the gold attachments. Feels bad. I'm happy for them though. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, that caustic treatment was a really good addition, I think, for that side of the map of Apex. It kind of felt, after they removed Skull Town and Thunderdome, that nobody really wanted to play in that area of the map. But now, with that, a lot more teams are pulling towards that side, you know, caustic, salvage, market area. So we're starting to see a lot more fights there. And it's still a very, very long looting phase in this lobby, which is very interesting.
It's the
because
complete
we've
opposite
seen
what
so
we saw
many
last week, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've been watching so many teams get off into, you know, these early engagements, and there's just the level of respect in this lobby where everybody is just trying to make their rotations. But Mayor Addicts is coming into this heavily congested area next to capacitor, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of fights break loose very soon. They've got really good loot going for them as well, 2 purples, 1 blue, and there's a drop as well. So Mayor Addicts are going to be really, really stacked for this fight.
Oh, look at that gold armor. Oh my word. These guys are stacked and ready to go. Even their guns, they got all the weapons you need, all the fan favorites that we've seen so far. The R301 in the fight's actually breaking out here. Who's brave enough to challenge them? We're about to find out. We see already a couple of good shots there from Cold. Oh, 8. Okay, they're running, they're juking, they're jiving. GB gonna drop his ulti here. Oh, Mayor Addicts fighting up against. I'm not even sure yet. Oh, it's RVNK. They're under pressure. They're already taking a lot of damage. Armor cracked.
It's a very back and forth fight that's happening. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the team really wants to commit too much into this fight. They're actually gonna back away, but you gotta be careful up in the air and those octane jump pads because it's so easy to hit those shots as soon as you start gliding. And Mayor Addicts have taken advantage of that, and they have now taken the high ground position. And there are a lot of teams in this area, so a third party must be looming very soon. So I'm sure Mayor Addicts knows that they have to complete this fight as fast as they can. And that's K9 going to be able to take 1 member out of the team. And they're just all behind this car. The wingman shots not quite connecting. They're all going to drop down. The dome pops as well. Jumps into the building. Even 8 shots going crazy, but now there's 2 angles to worry about here. Are they going to be able to clean this one up? K9 goes down. It's all up to Cold. Cold is really weak here with the R301. Clutches it up, Camille.
Man, oh man, it looks spotty for them. Cold on literally 1 HP. But he managed to get the clutch out and they survived through. There was a spotty moment for our lobby leaders there. We could have seen a major upset because RVNJ, they're not the highest on the leaderboard, but they have shown quality in the past 4 games we've seen of them so far. So that was a tense moment, to say the least.
Yeah, it was very tense, and seems like the fights are starting to break loose now as Elite Gaming find themselves poking into capacitor, but they don't really want to commit too much right now. I think they're worried about a lot of teams being in the area, which they are actually a lot of teams in the area. So they're probably just looking for this rotation. And we now tune in to Punks here, who are on the side of Elite Gaming, as well as Mayor Addicts. It's like 3 really good teams almost sandwiched on top of each other. Saucy Gold also in the mix of this, and there's just so many teams on this side of the map who are just trying to get in the zone, and Dom needs to be careful. Takes a lot of damage. Gonna have to pop this bad.
Saucy Gold feeling good for now. They got the R301 here, so a lot of light ammo there available. They just they dropped 1, unfortunately. And it's the lifeline who went down. That is a disaster. We see them getting jumped on here. They're getting punished. They're going to get brought down. EG not messing around. They bring them all down. Elite Gaming showing why they're one of the best here across the African continent.
Yeah, EG, some nice placement points. But now Punks needs to be careful because I think Punks is trying to get involved with this, try third party EG. And Punks is playing very, very split, which I'm not enjoying. If 1 member goes down here, it's going to be really hard to recover. Colder needs to get back as fast as he can here on the zip line. Luckily, he's got that smoke to give him a little bit of cover, but he does end up going down to Chaz. And now EG's gonna sense blood and probably push up on this.
And we see that combo. Revenant popped the ulti. I'm sure the jump pad. I don't think the jump pad was actually there, but they got enough distance regardless. They got very fast players, and they should get the full sweep here. Elite Gaming feeling very happy with themselves right now, wiping out the 2 teams, and are still in a great position around the map. This is exactly what they wanted, Tendo. They really want to assert their dominance as the top team in the lobby. Punk still got 2 players left, but I don't know for how long. Hikari already dropping super low on the HP. We see Tremble forced to use his Q to get out. Elite Gaming, they ain't done. They're still fighting yet again. They bring down a member from Dark, or top 5 team in the lobby. Elite Gaming, they ain't resting today. No rest for the wicked. They're bringing down every single team they can find. They're looking like they want to clean up this fight. They're going to get the heals up there on Jazz Jarek.
Stabilizing just a tiny little bit, but it does look like Vayazu's made his entry inside, and he is taking names down, and the entirety of Dark Esports goes down to John Wick himself. He comes in and reaps everybody with that Spitfire, gold Spitfire on top of that. So he's going to be doing so much damage in this game. And we tune into Drip Apex, who are just holding the top of this compound. A couple of defensive bombardments have been dropped next to them, but they're just chilling, trying to hold some ground. And there've been a lot of fights all of a sudden, Camille, after a very slow start.
Yeah, this always happens, and it's the best part of the game, because I don't really like the 50-50 fights at the start too much, because I feel like you don't really get to see the perks of competitive Age of Legends. You don't get to see these teams at the absolute best, but right now, when everybody is ready to fight, you get to see who the best of the best really are. And Mayo Addicts looking to fight up against Elite Gaming here. This could be our top 2 teams duking it out here and now. It's exactly what we wanted to see, and it's such a great place. Hopefully they don't get third party, so we can see that true 1v1 boss battle here.
It's a long-range fight, though, and they're just going to try poke as much damage as they can. Elite Gaming, though, I think in a better position, considering those guys are going to have to drop down as the zone pulls in. Vias is taking a lot of damage trying to poke these shots. And it's that Anvil, you know. Anvil is one of those hop-ups that the Apex community missed. And what it does is it shoots 2 bullets out of the same shot, pretty much. You tap it once, it'll take 2 shots out, and it does quite a lot of damage. It's really good for long range, and you can just see that coming into action here. Both sides have the Anvil, actually.
Very tight engagement just for now. The zone is going to pull here, so like you say, Mayo Alex are going to be the ones who have to force to reposition. They will be able to find a spot here in this building, heal right back up, and I wonder if Elite Gaming is going to be looking to press them, or they're just going to wait the edge of the zone. Oh, as I say that, they're already on the run. Fires and the boys ready to go. There's no portal available on the race, but I'm not sure about... Okay, we see the totem come out as well. Everything is there. They're ready to go. Fight is going to break out. How are they going to do? Margin taking so much damage right from the get-go. It's going to be forced to pop his Q. Get back out. Heal up. Tension is here, Tendo. This is a fight ready to break out.
Yeah, this is a big fight that is breaking out. The defensive bombardment did stop the Wraith player from making that push, which was pretty good from Mayo Addicts. So they did well to use that to their advantage. And look, I'll give Mayo Addicts a thumbs up there. You know, sometimes it's not really about taking that fight, and now they're in a really good position. They've got high ground over Elite, who are going to be rotating in here, and are we going to see Cold taking some crazy shots here? But who's got to be careful, because that player snaps around, but it's not enough. It's actually Punks who are caught out on this rotation, and the carry gets knocked down. And it's all going to be up to Tremble, the Wraith player, who's going to just queue away and just get as much placement points as he can. And Elite Gaming on that opposite end. And Camille, so far we've just seen the top 5 teams in a fight here on this side of the map.
It has been absolutely sensational so far. The best teams are battling out against each other. We've been seeing very fearless play. Nobody's been scared of each other. And that's what I really liked about Group C. Where we see a lot of the times when we were casting together, where you were saying, when you were watching ATK especially, nobody wanted to take the fight. They just saw ATK's names. They were like, "Aye, let's vault it, boys." We ain't about this lifetime. But this time around, everybody's willing to show up to the party. And I really like that rotation from Mayo Addicts. We saw DNMK clutch up a win like that earlier in the group stages, where they were in a rough place. They were taking a lot of fights early on, but they made this rotation up to this high ground, this very same high ground, especially at this time in the map, where they just the biggest threats, because nobody can really go in that area safely, can farm damage, get to those red shields. I mean, they're almost all there anyways. And just feel very good. They can cast out all the rotations and everything. They're in prime position right now.
Yeah, Yeah, Prime sitting on top of the watchtower. They've even got a replicator, so they're gonna pop in that Gucci store, you know, get a couple of bags there, you know, etc., and make themselves look real nice and clean. But we tune over to the opposite end of where some fights are breaking loose down in the bottom here in containment. And it's a 256 Spartans who are just trying to hold things down here. And they're running a bit of an OG composition here, Camille. They're running Pathfinder, Gibraltar, and Raid. I think this composition was around, I want to say, Autumn Circuit. ALGS is when this was a really big composition, back when Pathfinder was still very viable. Not to say he isn't viable right now. I just think a lot of people have seen the opportunity in legends like Horizon and Octane. So the movement category is really filled up right now. So yeah, but this composition, it's pretty good, I think. I think one of the best in Apex history.
All right, you love to see it. And there's been a lot of variety in this lobby. Of course, Elite Gaming is sticking with their stock standard 3 aggressive heroes. But all the teams have adjusted. They're playing what they feel like, playing what they're comfortable with. And this first game of our last day of the group stages here in group number C, or group letter C rather, has been absolutely phenomenal so far. 6 squads left, still quite a big zone. Everybody should be able to get to their spots here in this lobby, but who's going to have the best spot is the question. Who are you liking in terms of positioning the most so far from the teams we have remaining, Tendo?
I mean, look, I think considering how the zone has just pulled up, I think on top of Watchtower where Mayo Addicts is, it's still pretty good. They're still going to have quite a lot of high ground to control, but the way that zone is pulling, it's pulling to a lot of those mountains. So we might find a couple of sneaky teams trying to get on those mountains and try to play from that, but this team just gets taken out, and that's actually Elite Wannabes who get taken out by EGSA, which is a little bit unfortunate. You hate to see that happen in the lobby. But I mean, that's what happens when you have Elite Gaming just roaming, trying to find as many kills as they can. But this is a little bit shaky. The position that they're in, they do have to make quite a big rotate to get into the zone.
They do have enough time though. It won't be an open field, so they might get pressured, but they seem to they have enough movement spells that it should be okay. They got the Raid Portal, they got the Octane Jump Pad. It should be fine, but like you said, the dangers of Octane Jump Pad as opposed to the Pathfinder, which is the more classic legend, is that you can get hit a lot during that jump. It's quite a predictable and quite a slow jump as opposed to the zip lines, so you can kind of get punished a bit.
Yeah, you definitely do get punished for it, and yeah, I mean the nice thing about a zipline is just drop off, you know, and then you unless you're out in the open where you drop off, you can pretty much just slide into some cover and at least buy some time for your team to maybe reset and etc. Whereas if you're getting beamed in a jump pad, yeah, I mean it's over, man. And I think that's what kind of balances the Revenant Octane meta, whereas if you know they're coming towards you, shoot them out of the sky. They won't even land, you know what I mean? And they're probably not going to try jump pad in front of you without that Rev ultimate. But right now, 5 squads left in the zone. A couple of them need to make a bit of a rotation over that side where Mayo Addicts is sitting on that high ground.
They're looking to take the spike. They're going to jump in here. Who are they going to bring down? Did they get the down there? I don't think they have. And we see the ultimates come down there. Probably a Jib Alta, maybe a Bangalores. I'm not 100% sure. Drip Apex kind of getting pressured. Ice Cream going to go down. Can they get him? Can they get a heal up? Or are they just going to get decimated by Elite Gaming? For now, it looks to be the situation where Elite don't look like they want to stop. They're looking to pressure. Don't want to give them a chance to heal up or anything like that. No res should be available.
Yeah, you see, the problem is right now, I think
never mind.
I think the problem right now is all these fights are breaking down on this low ground, right, Camille? But what's happening with Mayo Addicts watching all of this, right? They should still be on that high ground.
Oh, they're gonna go forward. Yeah, they should get the clean sweep on that team there, on the team of Drip. Drip have not been a high kill lobby team, but they've always done very well in placements and once again made the top 5 here. So credit to them, but now they're out. We only got the Muchacho teams left, willing to fight. Mayo Addicts, like you say, still so comfortable in this high ground. A whole minute left to play there.
They're chilling quite comfortably up there, and I mean they've probably gathered all the information they need. They know where probably Elite is right now. They know there's one team in containment. I'm a little bit unaware of where the third team is probably situated right now. Maybe it's a rat? Yeah, it should be a rat. I mean 369 plus 1. Okay, my math is not bad, guys. Okay, I know what's happening here. Low-key.
Do you think it was a Punks player, the last Punks player who's alive? Because I remember they had one of the other guy dropped. There were 2 It might be them. We'll find out. 256 Spartans. It is a punk
there's your
player.
answer.
They finally got their placement points. And Trevor has a freaking Kraber. So he might be able to get more kill points here from the shadows.
Yeah, Kraber very deadly. We know that. He really just needs to play for an open fight pick and just try yoink whoever he can see out in the open. Is that even going to happen here? Because it looks like Elite have snuffed this out. So now it's Tremble trying to 1v3 in this situation. And all he has is this vault to work with. And it's not going to be enough. Elite Gaming take him out. And now Elite Gaming are granted a Kraber, which could be pretty big for them considering where they are positioned right now.
Ooh, that is always going to be a threat. Luckily, Tweaker isn't in this lobby because then we would see some game-breaking stuff. But let's see what Elite Gaming can do. They actually be able to maybe take some fights with Mayo Addicts up there on the high ground, pressure them with the Kraber. And talking about the Kraber, shot comes out 106. Woo! There's another one. He's absolutely styling Virus. Why did I doubt you, Fred? Why did I doubt you? They just find. I think they just found Mayo Addicts here. Margin is gonna go down there. It's one player left. Is Cooper gonna clutch us out? He's going to be man against the world here. 2v1. Kraber shot. I don't know if it was on the mark there. Not 100% sure. But Spartans, they're looking to third party. They're all healthy. Oh, I say that, but Gaddafi, he goes down. What a bloodbath, Tendo. This finale looking to be absolutely sensational here. How are they going to do? It's a 2-on-2, I think, all around. I don't know if Vyers and side of Elite Gaming managed to get the res off. And Gaddafi, he's back in it. Still going to be a 2-on-3. Can Spartans close it out? This is going to be the do or die moment here. We've seen Vyers do crazier things in the past. He's trying for this. The damage is looking pretty decent. It's so tense. Gaddafi getting a couple of good shots, but he goes down in Elite Gaming. They do it once again. They win the first match here in the best of 2 in group number C's matches tonight.
All I'm gonna say is sheesh to those Kraber shots from Vyers. I think it clutched it up for them. I mean, considering the position that they were in towards the end of the game there, Elite Gaming, they weren't really in a favorable position. And I think Mayo Addicts would have probably had a better advantage. And I mean, 2 Kraber shots clean, teammates are there to back up those kills. And then that's the game for Elite Gaming. They just have to, somehow they win that fight with 1 player down as well. But I mean, look, when you have John Wick on your side, just don't mess with the dog, you know what I mean?
One thing to say, Esmery, before we go to the break, one thing is Vyers MVP. That's it. That's it.
One second, you know.
Esmery was also 2021 just saying there in the background that Vyers is the MVP, weren't you, Esmery?
I was not saying anything. I was muted. You could not put words in my mouth there. But either way, we've got those cards coming up. We've got the host. We've got the champions coming up. I mean, there's no denying who our champions are. Elite Gaming coming through once again. And once again, why do you doubt Vyers? He's got a Kraber. It's Vyers. It's John Wick, the John Wick of the African Throwdown so far. So there's no doubts. As soon as that shot came through, that was it. I knew who was going to be winning that lobby. But that was such an interesting map, though. I feel like we had a really slow Group C game, which is something we have not seen at all yet. It's the 5th map so far, and this is the first time we've seen such a slow map. We also had such a long looting phase, as you guys mentioned, and then that just broke out into the slowest fights, maybe one here or there, and then in the end, everyone in the top 3 just decided to have a party. Elite Gaming, your champions for the second last map of the Group C group stages. And I guess the question on Camille's mind right now is who is that MVP? Because I know he wants to shout out someone's name.
You already know it. You heard it.
Who's it going to be?
Where's it going to be? There we go. 8 kills. 2,300 damage. And it's not about even the stats, because stats do lie. It's about the fact that when it came to the crunch time, the time when it matters most, this man ascended. It was match point out here, and this guy served an ace.
Yeah, well done to Vyazu, honestly. I mean, let's not look away from Elite Gaming working as a unit together. I have to commend the entire squad. I think everybody, had their moments to shine in those fights. But yeah, I mean, Vyazu picks up that Kraber, hits those instant Kraber shots towards the end over there. And yeah, it's like when you're down like so many rounds in like a 5v5 game, and then all of a sudden your team just clutches up and pulls it back. It's like that's what picking up the Kraber does pretty much, it just pulls it back for you.
It was insane. I mean, the fact that they managed to make that work, even though May Addicts had the advantage there, I don't know. We'll have to see. That last couple of seconds of the map was just insane, just absolute chaos. Either way, though, for those of you watching, I hope you're staying with us. This is the Apex Legends African Throwdown. We're going to be going to a short break before the last map, the last final group stage map that is coming up right after the break. We'll be right back.
MVP.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the Apex Legends African Throwdown. We are on to the last map of the group stages, the last opportunity for teams to get their points up, to get them qualified for that top 40, which we will have at the end of the night. Camille, you having a fun time there?
V for Vias. V for Ravine MVP.
I don't know. Okay.
I thought it was an X. At
Yeah, I
first.
thought you
was
were
just
like, X
marks the
X for
spot.
what?
What's happening here?
What
It
you
was
showing
hard
here,
to do a
man?
V with my hands, okay? But bias for MVP. Never forget it. Never forget it. Hashtag not biased.
Ish. You better start never doubting that man. You see that name, you see a Kraber, you know what's gonna happen. You know
just
how
for
it's
the
gonna
broadcast,
finish. You know how it's gonna end.
I try and make the guys doubt him, so when he does it, it's even more epic.
Nah, just believe in the Vias. You are the Vias hype man. We know that now as a fact. It will be written in stone somewhere, I'm sure, maybe other way. So Group C, second map. Here we are on Olympus. Thendo, how do you think what we've just seen on Kings Canyon, how the teams have just played, taking this over now to Olympus? I mean, you can see how the boards are going through. How do you think this might change?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is. I think at this point, you kind of know if you've made it into semis, low key. I mean, looking down at where Punks is sitting with 40 points, I think, 40 points was in the top 20 already. So most of our top 6 teams here are pretty comfortable. So I'm looking towards Spartans going down. It's time to kind of show up. It's time to pull something out if you haven't yet, because you just might not make it. Because you got to remember, right? If the top 6 teams go crazy this game, they drop some crazy points, some good placements, they're gonna start to push people from the other groups down, right? And etc. So it's gonna start becoming a little bit more shaky even for people in other groups now. So if you're a part of the African Throwdown, you need to be watching this game to know if you're making it or not, pretty much. So yeah, I think we're gonna have another slow game to start things off on Olympus, because everybody's gonna try find their footing. But I mean, as soon as the fights start to break loose, I think the fights will be breaking loose.
I mean, we do have Outlaws picking up 5 points, so Dr. Sid is holding on there by a thread. He's watching every moment, and he's waiting for Outlaws to make those big plays. And they do. The rest of the Group C members, as you mentioned, you need to pick it up. You need to get to that top 40 point. You need to at least get 40 points, ironically, to get into the top 40. So the work needs to be put in, and the teams really need to show up. And it's weird to me that we had Group A and Group B go super aggressive in their last couple of matches. They actually went really aggro. They played really quickly. And then the very dynamic, the very active, the very aggressive Group C slowed it down. Just chilled out. Took their time, got the loot, paid the respects that they needed to, and ultimately came around to do what they needed to do. But it's weird to me how these things change, but it's also just the beauty of Apex. I mean, this is how the strats come in. This is how the players have to think about it, and so far, it's working. Olympus, though, as I mentioned, Thendo, it's going to be up to you to break it down for us. Either way, though, I'm going to leave it in your hands. You guys got this. We've got the play-by-play for Thendo and Camille Chikte. Remember, guys, follow Apex. Follow Not Gaming Africa on all their socials. And yes, Thendo will be taking us through. I'm kidding. Thendo, you got this. Let's take it.
Olympus. One thing about Olympus, Camille, is we know it's that third-party map. I think even more so than Kings Canyon, especially today, I think we saw that we didn't see too many opportunities for third parties in that map. I think they were obviously towards the end when everything was breaking loose. But I think for the most part, everybody was kind of holding their ground. But we all know on Olympus, the rotations are so much faster. There's so much more loot distributed. So teams are going to probably drop in their spot, get the loot, and probably go hunting after that.
I was about to say a similar thing. The teams, for me, I watched, me and Esmery got a cast Group C at the end of last week as well. Best Apex I saw them play was in the last map. I think all the top teams ended up making the top 5. They all took courageous fights. They all played zone. It was genuinely great Apex Legends we got to watch. But all of that goes out of the window, right? Because we are on this map, like you said, there was a very slow, methodical, well thought out game. But that's just not how this map is conducive to play. This is an aggressive map. There's great loot everywhere. You got to get your guns, get your loot, get ready, and get down to business, because there's endless rotations you can make. The third parties are always there. And kills, man. This lobby is going to be determined by the kills, as it always is. Wild West. And I'm never changing the name for this pretty place.
Yeah, and I mean, we're looking at a couple of teams for a performance here. Of course, we've got our Nigerian team, Outlaws, who we really want to see in those semifinals, and we hope they'll do good if they do make it to those semifinals. Of course, Punks didn't have such a good game. They were able to get, I think, 9 points, if I'm not wrong, which isn't too bad. I think 9 points is, I think, above average in terms of just like how many points teams have been getting in these groups. So maybe a big game from Punks. Maybe Punks is angry right now. You know, maybe Calder was a little bit angry getting shot off that zip line after, you know, EG pushed up on them. Maybe Elite Wannabes want to show something out in this lobby. You know, I think that top 6 right now is going to be our top 6 for the final zone.
I think looking at the top part of the group, most importantly the top 2, I feel like Mayo Addicts again. We were favoriting them in the last match. Obviously, you predicted Elite Gaming and you didn't jinx them for once, so congrats to you, Tendo. But the way Mayo Addicts played in the last match, the loot they had, the positioning they had, the way the zone pulled, it all looked in favor for them to win the game. But in the end, obviously, they fell short and they've lost their top of their group spot. So I feel like they have the most to prove. Kind of like how we saw yesterday when ATK dropped that one map. They were like, we ain't standing for this. We are so mad right now. We are going to decimate the next lobby. We're going to show you guys who the hell we are. And I feel like, I hope Mayo Addicts bring that same energy where they're like, listen, we're an aggressive team. We had the most kills in the lobby throughout 5 group stage games besides the last one. And this one, we want to show why. Like, I feel like that would be the way I want to see them play.
Yeah, and let's hope they do come out like that, you know, because it's really going to take a lot of moxie for them to... Look, I want to say that they have a fair fight up against Elite Gaming. If they go up against each other, they just have to coordinate each other well, because if you give the opportunity for someone like Vias to get like a really good shot on somebody, odds are that man is going to beam you to death, you know, and there's nothing you can really do. And as soon as you drop a man advantage, then it's pretty much a wrap from there, especially with a mechanically gifted team like Elite Gaming, who will just probably roll through them. But you know what? Mayo Addicts is the winner of this game. No jinxing. I called EG first game. This is Mayo Addicts game right here. I'm telling you, I can feel it.
All right, I believe you this time. And that's usually a problem. When I'm agreeing with my co-caster and the whole broadcaster agrees, that's like the caster's curse times like 4. But Mayo Addicts should be primed for this. I think the teams just below, I was impressed. Dark Esports made it quite far. Punks, it was funny you mentioned them, right? Because they were a very high kill team. They had the most kills in this Group C in the lobbies. And, the third most kills in the lobbies, even though they were quite low down in the standings. But then last game, even though they lost 3/4 of the team, their one player, the Wraith player, managed to rat out a top 5 placement. So they got a lot of points that time round. So I would like to see them also, you know, step it up, play their usual play style of playing very aggressive, taking a lot of fights, third-partying as often as they can, because they are that aggressive team. We are playing an Olympus map, kind of suits that play style a little bit better than, of course, King Canyon, which you have a lot more other options than just the run and gun, you know?
Yeah, and here we are. We're starting the final game of the group stages of the African Throwdown, hosted by Nodwin Gaming. If you haven't smashed that subscribe, that follow, I don't know what it is on Facebook, like, yeah, I mean, it's also the follow. Now's the chance, because it's almost semi-finals weekend, and this is the final game for teams to try and qualify as we tune in and see a couple of these teams trying to make their way to their drop positions. Elite Wannabes land here at the power station, and power station's a really, really good point of interest, Camille, because if you do get contested on the spot, right, you can opt to land, yeah, if you catch a glimpse right there at the far right, there's a little bit of a compound there that you can play from as well, but Punk's now in a bit of a fight.
This is what they do best, and we see Cold actually took out Jazz Jurek. That means we saw a 50-50 from the top 2 teams in the lobby right from the get-go. Punk's playing pretty decent here as well, looking for that early game engagements. Do they get it down? Yes, they do. Margin actually down, so Elite Gaming, they are about to get knocked out here. Tendo, this is the beauty and the madness of Apex Legends, of Battle Royales being shown right from the get-go. And Punks is the team to clean up all those kills. But looks like Mayo Addicts going to probably try a third party here. Wait. Did they just kill Mayo Addicts as well? They killed K9. They did. No ways. No ways.
I'm so shook right now. I don't know what it is about energy. Why is everybody coming to energy right now? Is it because it's got all the energy? I guess so, because Punks is showing their energy here. They just clutch up a pretty big fight there, eliminating Mayo Addicts. I'm not too sure what actually happened to Elite Gaming. I didn't really see too many confirmations in the kill feed. They might have been able to sneak away, but big game for Punks right now. They've pretty much taken out our second, well, not pretty much, they've taken out our second place team, and they're looking to be a strong force to reckon with here. And I think they're maybe looking for where EG might be. You can just see Calder looking around, trying to find and look where, you know, they probably crawled off to. And yeah, I mean, look, we came from a slow-paced game on Kings Canyon to exactly what we expect on Olympus, just fighting, you know.
Words cannot express just how hyped that was, right? We were hyping up Punks. We said, okay, they're a high kill team. They like to take early engagements, yada yada yada, and they did it. They wiped out Mayo Addicts, which was the previous top of their group, and Elite Gaming, they're on the run. Two of their members did. Jazz Jurak got taken out, and Margin, we already saw his box. He's out of it. So maybe the last player remaining, Cooper, can go get the beacons, respawn his teams. Maybe they can come back. But for the most part, they out of it. Like, okay, we'll see if they get the respawn off. We'll see if they get the respawn off. But for Punk X, that is just the best possible start. No bigger statement has been made in this. Like, that was just nuts.
That was
and
definitely
Drip taking
nuts.
a decent early fight here.
Yeah, Drip is taking a fight here in Turbine. They're not really extending too much. They're not really sure if they want to take this fight or not. They're trying to rotate as well at the same time. So, yeah, I mean, yo, man, I'm still a little bit shocked. I mean, Camille, that just reminds me of like yesterday. Remember underrated versus lag at Elysium on drop? It was the same situation. Mayor Addicts pretty much, it's like I'd pull them in the same perspective. Punks versus Mayor Addicts, they managed to take that out. But look, Vayazu is in this one. Vayazu has managed to get a banner. He's going to get a revive, so we can't count Elite out just yet. John Wick is in this one, and he wants to win this.
They left the wrong player of Punks alive. Sorry, of Elite Gaming alive. Vyas. He's literally done it by himself. So now the fact that he has Margin with him again, it's maybe just going to be a little too easy for the man. All memes aside though, Elite Gaming are still in it. It was so close. Punks nearly wiped out both the top two teams right from the get-go. And like you say, the lag versus underrated, very surprising. Lag managed to clutch out that win in that map. But this, man, it was a whole other level. It was just so crazy. Outlaws, Dr. Sid's favorite team in the whole event, out here doing some decent long-range damage. Are they looking to full-on take a fight, or they're playing it a bit slow? They don't look too pressured right now. They got a nice place. They got the Jibby ulti ready if anybody tries to push them as well. Man, oh man, what a final lobby. Group C ain't playing around today, Tendo.
They're definitely not playing around at all. And things have calmed down around the map for the most part. I think a lot of teams are just trying to make a rotation. They've kind of seen where the zone is going to be pulling towards, and I think it's pulling very north. And we tune into Elite Wannabes, who are in a fight here at Carrier next to the docks. Whoa, be careful! You're gonna fall off the map! Oh my goodness! Woo, that was so scary. I actually thought he was gonna fall off the map right there, and EXO just able to clean out the rest of that squad.
Listen, that play was calculated, right? He knew what he was doing, right? No need to sweat it, no.
Yo, man, that was very scary for Elite Wannabes if the player did fall off. But thankfully, everybody is sitting comfortably, and their armor situation right now is looking good. They've got KP on the board. What would the odds right now? It's very lopsided because Elite Gaming is running as a duo, so they're probably not going to be looking to be as aggressive as they were before. They're probably looking to play the win. Punks has a lot of confidence right now after killing Mayo Addict, so they're probably going to be playing that same playstyle that Elite was playing. And I mean, look, it's just opening up the lobby to be pretty exciting right now.
100%, but Esmery told me at the end of the last panel, never doubt Fires, even though they're two down, I mean one member down, I still have a hard time betting against him. But this lobby is very open because again, like you say, the top dogs in the lobby, they down a member, they don't want to be the ones duking, jiving, taking all these crazy fights that every second they have a chance to, the way they would have played if this wasn't the case. So we'll see how things go. Elite Wannabes also picked at a very aggressive lineup. I wanted to mention, it looks like that's the Elite organization strategy where you pick these three aggressive heroes. And Outlaws taking a big fight here. Ooh, that was close on the EVA 8.
Outlaws need to try get this res and get them back on the 3-man. But it does look like Punks has snuffed this out, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from Punks here. Just showing confidence, knowing that right now this lobby is theirs if they played well. But Golden needs to be careful. He's taking a lot of damage. He slides into the triple take. He doesn't connect. He shots. He goes down to Onyx. And now it's a 2v2 if I'm not mistaken, because they haven't gotten that res just yet. And Hikari is gonna clutch things up with that odd 3-1 spray. And Punks is still in this. They need to get this res quickly before a third party looms over their shoulders.
It's always the Jibby players. Whenever the big carry, you know, the aggressive heroes, the attacking heroes go down, it's always the GB players who have to pick up the slack. Shout out to Hikari. I was looking dicey for them for a moment, but I know there's one man who wasn't happy about that fight. Dr. said going to be in shambles, watching the Nigerian team get absolutely decimated in that situation. But Elite Gaming, the main org, are down 2 versus 3 of the rest of the lobby, but the wannabe team looking very pretty right now. Got a lot of good armor, got very decent guns, R99s, Mastiffs, the whole shebang.
Yeah, they need to just play it, you know, a little bit more slow. I think Elite wannabes, I think oftentimes we've just seen them get into a really awkward situation where they don't really have an exit play, you know, and oh, I thought he disconnected for a second because you're standing so still. I was like, no, not like this. After they get you rest back in the game, it would have been so tragic. But now RVN are in a world of hurt here. They're gonna have to try win this fight out, but luckily all the players are still standing. No one's been knocked just yet. They are fighting in zone, so it's a little bit shaky. And Elite wannabes are in a fight here. The punch comes through as well. There is so much action all over the map. It's just so hard to keep track of what is happening as teams are starting to rotate towards this backside of the zone here at the docks.
Oh man, what an exciting lobby so far. They're gonna get the kill eventually here. Easy point there for the Elite army. There was looking dicey for them. They took a lot of damage in that engagement, but they managed to heal all the way back up to full. They got this extra movement here with the Horizon. They're ready to go. They still very happy to engage, take some more fights. This is their comfort zone right now. They're feeling confident in this lobby. We're climbing up for a very exciting end game potentially here. Punk's feeling good. Elite army feeling good. And of course, the Vias threat with Margin. Even though they're just 2, I don't want to count them out just yet.
Yeah, you can't count them out just yet, indeed. And look, I think they're playing really well because I haven't seen them in the kill feed. They're really just opting for rotations right now. But Elite Army or wannabes are really out for blood here. And the out-1 shots are going to be very clean here from EXO. He manages to get one down. Oh no, it's actually Limitless, one of his teammates that manages to follow through on that kill. And they're just going to W-key this and try to get this team out as quickly as possible. But look at that. He comes sliding out of nowhere with that Rev ulti. But he's going to be sent back really quick there. And one player has actually gone down. And it's actually Elite Gaming versus Elite wannabes right now. And it makes so much sense. The tables have turned 2v2. Limitless out of this fight. What's the next play here from Elite wannabes?
Oh man, Elite Gaming showing why they are the A team. They're like, we can be 2v3, but we still the biggest, baddest wolves here in the Elite Gaming org business. Let's see what they do. Did they get the card back there, Tendo?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I didn't really get a glimpse of it.
I don't know how these two just do it. They're so confident. They didn't hesitate at all. I don't know how they came up so we didn't saw the fight in a very late position, but it just looks like they just smashed the minute they came out there.
Yeah, and you know, it's actually very arguable, Camille. I think Apex Legends is a really good team game in general, you know, because if you down a man, it's actually somewhat easier to coordinate between 2 people, because then it's only 2 comms that you have to worry about. Hey, this guy's weak, that guy's weak, and your teammate needs to just know who to shoot. And I think that's exactly what happened in that fight, and it's you know, guaranteed them an extra kill point here, which is really good. And a team was trying to push up on them, but it doesn't seem like anything is going to happen. And now RVN are taking the portal back into zone. What's going to happen? One of those players is really weak. He's going to die instantly to the zone. Is he not? I'm so confused.
Oh,
hopefully they're okay.
All right, I'm not gonna comment on that. RVJ, y'all finish you guys sort your stuff out. But Margin there was just holding off. Oh, sorry, it was Vias. My bad. Dark Esports tried to pressure Elite Gaming there. They were like, okay, we 2v3. They ran out J to the open, and Vias just like decimated 3 of their shields, dropped them all down so low, and they just had to tuck their tail and run, which is very, very funny. And they're still holding this place, edge of zone. They're not really worried. anybody who shows their face there, they're going to pressure. And Dark Esports, that cannot feel good when you are 3 versus 2. I agree with your point about the teamwork, by the way, because like you say, it's so important to communicate between 3 players and stuff. Can be a bit difficult. So you need 2. You don't worry about all these other things. There's no pressure on you if Elite Gaming. It's like, let's just do our best. Let's focus on the team in front of us, and they've done that absolutely exceptionally so far.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why it's so important to have a really good IGL. And look, I mean, I'm not saying that a team needs one overall IGL that's just like this dictator that decides everything, but it's really good to have one clear voice in a team of 3, and I mean of any team, where you just know what you guys are doing. And sometimes when you have these teams where they be like, okay, I'm a secondary IGL, I sometimes, you know, make a couple of calls. You can see they don't often do too well. But I mean, look, Elite Gaming, not too bad here. They're gonna sit at the edge of the zone. They're not really trying to play an end game position just yet, knowing that there's 2 of them. But also, Elite Wannabes get that res off, which is really good. And I'm kind of surprised they were able to get that banner, because it's not like Elite, you know, left the area. They just kind of snuck in. Dark now have made the rotation back into a power. And yeah, I mean, we still got 6 squads in this one.
It might not be for long. Looks like Elite Wannabes taking a fight here. Going to be on the run. The Bangalore smoke is there. Should be in a safe place. They're in a decent position to fight. Did the zone pull completely here to the docks area? It has. Okay. That is very interesting. We've seen some like very exciting pulls so far on the Olympus map. We saw yesterday a map on 08 by next to estates where the whole circle came to close there. Now we see a similar area in docks.
Yeah, and a little bit of information for those people out at home that are watching the African Throwdown. You're like, yeah, wow, I really want to start getting involved in some competitive Apex. The zones are very, very predictable, because if you've been playing today, you'll notice that a lot of zones have been pulling towards the north side of the map, and that's exactly what's happening here. Docks pool on Olympus, and some days you can kind of snuff that out and maybe plot, you know, your drop spot. And I mean, if you're a team that landed Docks, you almost didn't have to move the whole game, but I don't think any teams actually landed here. I'm pretty sure the teams have been rotating towards this side, and now Punks have entered the situation. On the opposite side there is Elite Wannabes. Tremble taking some shots with the R301, just trying to control as much area as he can, get as much information, but he's got to be careful up there. He does exchange cracks of the armor, which is pretty good. So I don't know, they're just going to be chilling here and just waiting for some more teams to rotate and get some more information.
This is a situation I think we saw Underrated Gaming find themselves in the other day, where they make that very early rotation to the zone. They're playing the area very well, but because they rotate so early, they end up finding themselves running into good teams all the time, because all the good teams have the same sort of thinking in terms of where they want to rotate to. So even though Elite Army Wannabe were there so early, they have to fight up against their fellow lobby leaders in the form of Punks. It's a very interesting situation, but now we see all the squads going to be moving. Their Dark Esports running. I'm sure Elite Gaming's RSA, their main team's going to be there as well. And we're about to see absolute great finale. And look at that damage coming out here from the horizon. Sensational stuff there with the R99.
Some good shots coming in from Punks right now, as they're going to just try gatekeep Dark. But they got to be careful, because if someone tries to third party... Oh, wait. There is actually a lot of teams in this area right now. Oh, actually, one team has been limited. Yeah, like, everybody's trying to rotate on the side. Counts are in a tough situation. One player goes down, it's red. He goes down, the Bloodhound player, and now the Portal player is going to be trying to get this player out, and I think it's going to go through. They're going to be able to get this Portal rotate. They're probably going to be able to get this rotate, I mean, this res as well. And look at that zone, Camille. It just keeps pulling more and more north.
Oh my word, we're literally going to be edge of the map. I feel like if Esmery was here in the lobby, she'd have so much anxiety just from the thread of falling off. And talking about anxiety, Punk making their enemies sweat here. They're holding this area in absolute dominant fashion so far. WQ looked almost going to fall himself. He gets the portal right out again. But it is dicey. Punk feeling very confident with the position so far. EG, their main team. I wonder where they're hiding those 2 players, Margin and Viaz. I feel like they're just waiting for their chance. Tendo to just come in with the absolute insane third parties. They're talking about third parties. Viaz going to do a lot of damage, but he's going to take a lot of damage in return there as well.
And Docks is such a difficult zone to play for, especially when it pulls towards this area where there's like spaces to fall off the map. So now it's just about covering as many angles as you can, and it's very difficult, especially for Elite Gaming right now, because they're down a player, obviously, so they can't cover all these angles. Vyaz needs to be careful. Does destroy that Horizon ultimate, but now he's gonna get pushed, and I'm pretty sure that's Elite wannabes that want to get involved in this fight, knowing that there's probably only 2 players left on that squad. Punks as well, snuffing this out. Everybody is rotating to get to this fight. Elite Gaming need to be really careful holding this position.
Holding the doors, they see the threat. How are they gonna do? Our lobby leaders, their backs are against the wall quite literally right now. They're gonna try their absolute best. They got a couple of grenades, they're gonna run into the spots, but like you say, here in the docks, there's nowhere to hide. There's just so much pressure on all angles. It would be the most insane clutch in the history of our Apex if they do it. But Margin, he's already in trouble. He's going to try fight it out, but he's going to get brought down. Now they're going to go look for the main man, Vyaz. John Wick has done it before, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it again. He's going to be precious. He gets up the battery. He gets up a couple of nice shots. Can he get it down? No, he's going to get brought down. Elite Gaming RSA, they're going to get knocked out. The B team showed up this time. Some revenge from earlier.
ABCs 1, 2, 3. You're down next, and Elite Army are doing really well here. They've got the res as well. They're gonna be able to recover. They've taken out, I think, you know, the biggest threat in terms of Vyazu going down and no one there left to beam them. But look, Punks is just trying to make a play. They're not really in the zone, so it might be a little bit tough. And we've got a full 3-man on each team here, so this is going to be really interesting. We've even got a Crypto in this one. So are we going to see a Crypto ulti in this final play as the Crypto drone is going to go out to scouts?
I really hope so.
Crypto, Camille.
He's got all the space to scout. There's nowhere to hide. They will have full information here. They don't have the best like open field ultis, which I think they are kind of a disadvantage in that sense, because we've got a Bangalore on one end and we have a Jib on the other end. So team fight's gonna be crazy. I think it's gonna come down probably to the third party. Which team gets gone on first? And oh, we see Blackbot taking so much damage there. He's gonna be forced to pop the battery. I wonder if any of the teams looking to pressure them. He's getting shot even more. And Elite Army, they're feeling the pressure right now. Oh, sorry, they're smelling blood right now, and they're putting on the pressure. They get one down. He gets knocked out. Blackbot is eliminated, or down at the very least, and they're looking for more. Look at this tracking from XO1. Sensational stuff. Gonna look to back out though. Regen up. His team about to come in and help. Punks on the flip side also here, looking to third parties. Open field. Everybody's fighting it out right now. I don't think the GB ulti came out there, and the Bangalore's still sitting on their ulti, so lots of, there's the ultis we're talking about. Bangalore gonna do so much damage. Buy some time here in this. I think the round 5 zone is ended. Is he gonna start closing already, Tendo? Or is he gonna close in a bit still?
I think the zone is closing in as we are speaking. There's one player left on Kant. It's only the Bloodhound play. Okay, well. Bye-bye. See you next game. It's a 3v3 now.
The 1v1 battle is here.
Yeah, it's Punks versus Elite. Punks, a lot of damage has been taken by the team. The ulti is popped by Calder. He's gonna try to do as much damage as he can. He takes a lot of damage. Elite Army are sitting comfortably though. They haven't taken a lot of damage, and now they're just gonna try play this head glitch here. And I mean, look, they're in a really good position to win this game. They just need to gate, but the Oxstar stick comes out of nowhere. The Gibby ulti is gonna be thrown down as well. Is Elite ready for this? The Horizon is gonna be flying out of the air. So much is happening. Limitless is stunned. Madness! It's going crazy. The Spitfire shots from EXO. Everybody's just split up from the team, trying to take as many shots.
The match is so good so far. Is it gonna be enough though? Elite Army, they have 2 players left, but so does Punk. It's a full-on 2v2 here, Tendo. Who's gonna win it through the smoke? Look at that damage. Punk's doing the most right now. Limit is so low. XO1 trying to heal up. Who's gonna get the clutch here? Who's gonna win it out? Look at Tremble. He's bleeding out right now. It's gonna be a 1 versus 1. This is the final battle, Tendo. Oh man, Horizon going up, looking to play. This almost falls off the map. My word! It is madness. Madness. Oh, look at that crack. So much damage coming from XO1. Is he gonna do it? He's gonna try. Yes, he does! Sensational! Madness! Oh my word! Woo! Woo! Woo!
I don't know about you guys, but I'm speechless. I have had anxiety since I saw Xenon from Elite Army nearly fall off the map, and I had anxiety in the last fight with, again, players nearly falling off of the map in a 1v1. That is an Olympus final map final group stage map that you could not have asked for, even better than what we just been given. Olympus is here to showcase why it is such a high octane game and why it's such a high octane map. But I mean, do you guys have any comments before I do my thing? You guys okay? Have we recovered?
I mean, Camila and I are just going crazy, shouting on top of each other, not knowing what's happening. There's just smoke everywhere. And look, Bangalore is so clutch in that situation there, I think, for Elite Army. If they didn't have Bangalore, I think Calder probably clutches that fight out. I mean, he had a lot of HP coming into that fight, but I think EXO just did so well to play around that smoke, and that's ultimately what wins them the fight. It was so back and forth. There was an Oxstar stick, Gibraltar ultis falling from the sky. Yeah, that's a way to wrap up group stages. That's honestly a way to wrap it up. I can't even say more than that.
But we've got your champions. We've got your final champions for the last group stage map. And of course, it is the Elite Army wannabes. You were talking about Team B, Team A. I mean, I feel like they've made a statement here tonight. My question is now, my last question for the group stages, who is the MVP? Because those last couple of fights gave me such anxiety. I mean, can we not have people falling off the map, please? That's all I ask.
Listen, I don't care what happened throughout the rest of the lobby. That's ancient history. That's in the past right now. The fact that he managed to clutch out the 1v1 in the final, literally the last map of the entirety of the group stages, and he managed to win that out. There we go. The system agrees with me. 2,800 damage, 8 kills, but he won the 1v1. He won that duel. It was amazing. Best. I can't talk. I can't talk. It was too epic.
I mean, it honestly could have gone either way, but I do think that Bangalore smoke coming through, I mean, they were shots through the smoke, connecting somehow, some way without a DT. I don't know how it happened, but that was pure and utter chaos for the last map of the group stages. And wow, I am blown away. I don't know about you guys. Are you guys okay? Have we recovered? Because we've got some things to talk about.
So, I mean, someone needs to ask Punks if they're okay. I mean, I'd be so devastated, especially after them taking out Mayor Addicts in the beginning. I thought, look, this is their game now. They've got the confidence, and they really did have the confidence up until the very end. And then it just goes south in that fight there. I mean, yo, man, you can't ask for a more dramatic finish, you know. I mean, look, put this in the cinema right now. I mean, this needs to be the scene in a movie theater, the way that final fight played through. And I mean, shout out to Punks though for coming second place. I think best performance so far in all 6 games comes in the very last game. I think you can walk away a little bit happy, bounce back, get ready for semifinals weekend, because look, they're in semifinals after a game like that.
Surely,
I just want to say one more thing about Punks there. Sorry to cut you off there, Esmery, is that a lot of the times we've seen these clutch 1v1 fights where one team has a clear advantage, and when they lose, it's like they kind of threw the game, right? We've seen it in the first opening night of this tournament where, Crocodonosters were 3 versus 2 against DNMK and they lost. But in this case, Punks were on the back foot. Their HP was way lower than Elite Wannabes by the time that fight kicked off. But they pushed them. They really pushed them, and it came down to a 1v1 duel in the end. That's just 50-50. I don't think there's anything they can complain about. That was good Apex from them. Top tier stuff. Unfortunate they didn't get the win, but they should feel confident after that, honestly.
And I mean, Punks had a stellar game from the get-go. We've been asking and waiting for them to kick up their placement game, and they kicked up their placement game, their kill game, all in one map. So they should be really proud of what they've achieved tonight. But I'm going to put a pin in this top 40 talk, in the group stages talk, because we do have some announcements to make. We have some wonderful things to talk about, and that is, of course, the African talent search. So before we get to the top 40, don't worry, it is coming. We will be announcing that shortly, but we have some beautiful finalists to talk about. We have some semi-finalists. I mean, we had the second stage. You can see the round 2 finalists of the African talent search, and I mean, we had some interesting submissions. Tendo, Camille, anything to add on to this? I mean, have you seen a couple of the submissions? I just saw constantly, my Nodwin feed was going absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I did catch a couple of them. I did quite enjoy them. I mean, I saw a lot of it was PUBG. I'm not really into the PUBG scene so much, but I mean, I saw some very exciting casting coming out of it. I want to highlight Iro. I think Iro had a really good video if I saw it. I think he's got some good temperament in his casting as well, and he's got a really nice personality, for it. So I think out of the people I'm seeing here, I think I quite enjoyed his video.
Camille, from your side?
Yeah, Aero GG, OG, he's my boy. He was playing in this tournament. Multi-talented guy, does Fortnite, was playing the Apex, now did a good cast over obviously PUBG as well. I want to just say, because I'm a pie, I really liked her skit in the talent search, both phase 1 and phase 2. I thought she had great charisma. Really hope to see her going forward. JM Cloudburst, he just came off the back of winning the freaking UGC Rumble in the Jungle Tekken casting competition. I can't remember what it was called. I even entered it. I forgot now. But he did really well. He had a really good submission. Him and his co-caster did a good job casting the tournament as well. Yeah, those are the standout ones for me as well.
Well, either way, the round 2 is over, and we do have your final 3 winners for the African Talent Search. And here they are. We've got Michael Egbo, we've got Arabambi Easy Kill, and Alex Wrigley. You are the winners of the African Talent Search, and don't worry, we will be giving out all the details shortly. I'm sure they will contact you and do all the super admin things, but congratulations, you guys. It takes a lot of guts to put yourselves out there, to get yourselves those kind of contracts, and to get yourselves noticed in a way that is really difficult, especially the fact that we had so many submissions across Africa. It was not just a South African thing, it was across Africa, as is the Not in Gaming Africa organization, and it was really great to see, and some of the submissions were some really creative submissions. Absolutely props to you guys, and congratulations. Here they are. Man, that is so hyped. We had some hyped Apex, we have some hyped talent joining the fold, really, and you couldn't ask for anything else. I mean, any more points to add on, guys? We've had such insane moments in these group stages. I honestly, there's so many things that are popping into my head right now. We've got Group A, Group B, and Group C just go absolutely ham for this top 40 spots and to prepare for the semi-finals. Camille, I'm going to start with you. Number one thing before you talk about fires. Don't say fires. You've spoken enough about
He
fires.
wasn't the MVP in this game. XO1, that's my new boy now. Okay, but all memes aside, right? Usually before casting and stuff, Esmery, you can talk about it. These 3 talent who just won the competition, they'll be talking about it in a few years as well. Us casters, we have to hype ourselves up. We drink water, we get in the zone, we move our bodies, we warm up doing rap lyrics and stuff. That's how we get in the zone. But for the semi-finals and finals, I am already so wired for it. I'm going to have sleeping tablets and put a weighted blanket to just hold me down, because otherwise I'm going to be bouncing off the walls. I am so hyped to see these top teams across the groups battle against each other. I think anything can happen, literally anything. Yes, DNMK, yes, ADK, these are the top teams, whatever, but they have to play against quality teams across the board now in the semi-finals and finals lobby, so anything can happen. We saw Mayo Addicts in this lobby itself get knocked out right from the jump, so that's the beauty of Battle Royales, that's the beauty of Apex Legends, and I'm just excited. That's what I have to say, Esmery.
Well, Tendo, I mean, I feel like the moments for you have been pretty similar, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's gonna be really exciting to see these semi-finals. And one thing, let me leave a little bit of wisdom for all the teams that do make it to the semi-finals. We're doing this broadcast not only to entertain the audience and everybody that's watching, and but it's also a really educational, piece of content for people to go back and watch. So if you're one of those semi-finalist team, watch the VODs. Watch how these teams playing. Listen to some of the comments myself and Camille make about, some of your play style, and try and improve on those, because it's going to be really, really difficult now moving into semifinals. Because if I'm not mistaken, it's only going to be top 10 from each semifinal group that'll move on to our finals weekend, which is the weekend afterwards. So, look, you have to know everybody. You need to know your opponent. I mean, it's in every sport, in every esport, you need to know who your opponents are. And this is just pretty much a handbook on how everybody plays to some degree.
Well, guys, it gives me great pleasure, but we finally have our top 40. We're going to be looking at the top 20 first that have been heading through, that have been the cream of the crop right now. Here they are, your first top 20 and the top 40 going through to the semi-finals. And for those of you who are wondering about the groups, how these teams will be assigned, each group, there's going to be 2 groups, and each group will play in a semi-final. If you want to find out information about those groups, you have to follow the Not in Gaming Africa socials, because they will be announced there. Man, look at this handsome group of top 20s.
Very, very handsome
Excellent
group
stuff.
of top 20s. And honestly, I think the top 10 is pretty much our top 10 teams. I think if we have to highlight, individual team play, etc., etc. I mean, DNMK, ATK, Elite Gaming, Mayor Addicts, Blind Peakers, Underrated, Elite Wannabes, Dark Esports, Punks, OGC, all the way even starting just to edge where Lag is. I think those are really our best teams in the African continent right now. And I mean, the table makes a lot of sense right now, and I'd love to see it get shaken up a little bit. I mean, look, maybe ATK and DNMK are in the same group for this one. Maybe Elite Army and ATK in the same one. Mayor Addicts versus Underrated. We're going to see so many matchups, coming up in these semifinals. It's going to be really exciting.
We're finally going to be able to see who's the best of the best. And I mean, nonetheless, here are the rest of the 20 of the top 40. I mean, these are teams that they've just made it through. And Outlaws are there. Sid, if you're watching, you can do your happy dance, man. They have made it. Your Nigerian team is in the top 40 going through to the semi-finals. It's absolutely fantastic to see it. We've also got some great teams like Revert Caustic coming through, Punisher, Spartans. We win these actually also making it in. And a couple of other teams that I've seen time and time again showing off some beautiful moments. And they've made it. Their hard work has paid off and they are into the top 40 for those semi-finals. Man, we've had some good teams here. Camille, from your side, anything standing out here for you?
I think if you Group A teams or Group B teams watching tonight's lobbies, I think there's going to be a level of pressure on, because I really feel Group C stepped it up. In other lobbies, your top two teams, there wasn't really priority. Those top two teams, you knew they're the best of the best, and they decimated their lobbies. Where in Group C, we saw like 4, 5, 6 teams who are like, we can come to the table, we can push any team on our day and play some great Apex. So I think in that top 10 now, you have like 4 or 5 teams from Group C who are like, we're ready to go. We can fight. We can dish it with the best of the best. And I'm really excited to see how the semifinals go and see how Group C pushes the two favorite groups, really, because you saw ATK in one group and DNMK in other groups. You're like, okay, those are the best groups, right? But now Group C are showing we're out here, we're watching, we're waiting, and they're going to put some pressure coming into the finals, I think.
It's just absolutely beautiful to see all these teams make it. And again, just to reiterate, the top 40 will be seeded into 2 groups. Each group will be playing a day of the semi-finals, and then the top 10 from those 2 groups will be going through to the finals. An absolute cracker of a couple of games coming up. And honestly, if you're not following Northern Gaming Africa to keep up, then you're going to miss out and see who's in the groups, because that's where they're going to be announced. So please follow their Twitch, follow their YouTube, follow their socials. You need to keep up, man. It's going to be fantastic to see how these teams are going to end up being and who's going to be taking their share of that $1,000 prize pool. Camille, Thendo, thank you guys. It was absolutely great to see these group stages come to a close, and you guys gave us some fantastic play-by-play. Also, shout out to our Observer team and our directors. They've been putting in the work and making our jobs so much easier than what they normally are. So thanks to you guys. You make it work. And I don't know, anything else to add before we finish off, guys? Group stages are done.
Nah, I'm pretty happy with how everything went down. I mean, look, if you are one of those teams that got knocked out, don't give up. I'm sure there'll be other opportunities to show that you can shine. And look, it's time to go play some ranked. It's time to go, maybe hopping to one of those scrims that, people are hosting, and just try up your game and bounce back when there's another opportunity, to take a shot at $1,000 prize pool, maybe even more in the future. We don't know. And, just to try to show it your best.
Camille, from your side?
No words. Except bias.
No words.
No, I'm joking.
Just bias.
I'm joking.
Just bias.
I said it all. I'm really hyped for the finals. Nothing more needs to be said. Like I can't explain how hyped I am. I'm super ready to go. Yeah, this weekend, the days cannot come fast enough. That's all I have to say, Esmery.
So reminder, semi-finals this weekend coming up, so please follow all the socials, and thank you to Tendo and thank you to Camille. This was an absolutely fantastic end to the group stages, and absolutely anxiety and chaos filled end to the group stages, but it's here, it's done. This is the Apex Legends African Throwdown, and we'll be right with you guys next weekend. It's going to be good, it's going to be great, it's going to be spicy, so hope to see you there. Cheers.